we get into the conversation this morning, let's check out trending news stories as we would always do. Trending news stories this morning. Should President Muhammadu Buhari sign the new Electoral Act Amendment Bill recently forwarded to him by the National Assembly into law, all political appointees in his government would no longer be eligible either as voting delegates or aspirants during the conventions or congress of their political parties. The implication is that some key ministries or ministers in Buhari's cabinet said to be nursing presidential ambitions would be barred from seeking the nominations of their parties. What this therefore means is that ministers, commissioners, and other political appointees are expected to resign ahead of their party's primaries in order to be eligible to contest in the primaries. The federal government of Nigeria has issued an advisory to all Nigerians resident in Ukraine following a looming war with the threat of a Russian invasion of the country and amid counter moves by Western powers led by the United States to forestall alleged Russian intentions. In a statement issued by Mr. Gabriel Odu of the Media Public Relations and Protocol Unit of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NITCOM, Nigerian citizens living in Ukraine were urged to remain calm and be security conscious following recent happenings and tensions generated between Ukraine and Russia. The Lassa fever outbreak claimed 40 lives in January, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control has said. In a situation report on Sunday, the center said 40 deaths represented a case fatality rate, CFR, of 19.0%, lower than the CFR for the same period in 2021, which was 22.2%. The report also showed that 211 confirmed cases of the disease were recorded out of a total of 981 suspected cases. The NCDC said a total 14 states had recorded at least one confirmed case across 43 local government areas. The federal government's school feeding program is collapsing, with food vendors no more turning up in schools. Findings in Benue, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Ogun, Enugu, Bauchi, and Kano states revealed that vendors have stopped providing food in schools as a result of non-payment of their funds. In some states, teachers and pupils said that when the program was in operation, it was epileptic, with few of the school children getting food when the vendors turned up. And to get to our talking points this morning, in 2020, the World Summit Against Cancer was convened in Paris and established the World Cancer Day. It is an annual international day commemorated on the 4th of February to promote awareness of cancer and support its prevention, detection, and treatment. The theme for the World Cancer Day 2022 is Closing the Care Gap, and it aims to address inequalities throughout the length and breadth of which cancer thrives. Money, education, race, ethnicity, gender, age, disability, and lifestyle are all elements that contribute to inequality. While it is evident that these gaps contribute to care delivery inefficiency, it is also crucial to stress that actions must be taken to address these social amenities or inequalities and encourage a focused care center approach. We're talking this morning with Gloria Chinyere Oku, who is the programs coordinator of the Project Blue. She's going to be joining us via phone. You too can be a part of the conversation. Join in, call 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. You can send us a message on 090-9. A better place for those who may be living with cancer. And the conversation continues now right here on your radio experience. You can count on Eagles 102.3. We're talking with Gloria Chinyere Oku, who is programs coordinator, Project Pink Blue. She's joining us by phone now this morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Gloria.
Hello, good morning.
I see you're stuck in, you may be stuck in traffic this morning. How's it going for you, by the way?
Oh, it's going very well. I'm still on on my way to work. I'm in transit, so the traffic has been crazy.
That's okay. As it
Okay.
is, we are in a world where cancer is ravaged. In a world that's ravaged by cancer, and Nigeria isn't, left out of those who are suffering. Looking through, I saw that about 72,000 deaths are recorded annually on account of cancer in Nigeria, and that is closing the care gap.
Yes.
In your assessment, as someone who has worked around that for quite a while, how would you say we're doing as regards, giving care to those who may be living with cancer?
I think we're not doing enough as a country. There's still so much to be done because more people are coming down with cancer, and that number is going to be on increase. According to statistics, especially in low and medium income countries, where access to care is quite limited, and Nigeria is top on that map. Now, when it comes to care in Nigeria, it's really below par because we have very few machines. For instance, when you talk of physiotherapy, I don't think we have up to 5 functioning machines for our large population of over 200 million. We have less than 100 oncologists in Nigeria to take care of cancer patients. People cannot afford to pay for chemotherapy. People cannot afford to pay for chemotherapy, because it's very, very expensive. And this is a country where you have a very high number of going to raise 10 million naira, 20 million naira to treat themselves when they have cancer. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a very, very big issue here. And the government is not doing enough, And like you mentioned, this government in its first tenure, looked like it was going to place a lot of emphasis on cancer when they signed the National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment Act. We were excited in 2017 when that act was signed, and we thought it was going to be implemented head-on. But 4 years on, 5 years down the line, it's not been implemented, it has not even been gazetted. And we know that if that act comes into force, it's going to help to coordinate all cancer efforts. It's going to help to finance research, prepare research, finance different aspects of cancer intervention in the country. But that act has not been gazetted yet. So honestly, the government is not doing enough. And we can also see the Cancer Health Fund. Close to 1 billion has been, released to treat indigent cancer patients. And as we speak now, not even one patient has been able to access that fund. So this does not look to me like the government is doing enough at all. Honestly, we've been talking about this Cancer Health Fund. I, as a survivor, and a lot of cancer patients that have died waiting to access this fund. So I really think the government should just get up and do the right thing.
Well, we'll be talking more about government's efforts and how the private sector as well as individuals can also come in to support cancer patients and cancer those who are dealing with the ailment at the moment. Stay with us. The conversation continues here on your radio experience you can count on.
Eagles 102.3.
One radio experience you can count on. Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja.
Christ Embassy Abuja Zone specially invites you to Total Experience Abuja with Pastor Dikbo.
The unique thing about this program is the swift and powerful move of God's Spirit that will bring about salvation of souls. There's no one that that should not be saved at this time. The Spirit of God will be mightily present to cause diverse miracles to happen.
Date, Saturday, 19th February 2022. Time is 4 p.m. Venue, National Stadium, Indoor Sports Hall, Package B, Abuja. Ministering in songs, the Zonal Choir and others. The power of God will be present to save, heal, deliver and prosper. One word from God can change your life forever. Buses will be available at all Christ Embassy churches and major bus stops. Christ Embassy, giving your life a meaning. Powered by Christ Embassy Abuja Zone.
Eagles Morning Ride.
Day, saying the World Cancer Day, which is the 4th of February. It was over the weekend, and well, we're talking this morning with Gloria Chinyere Oku, Programs Coordinator, Project Pink and Blue, talking with us via phone this morning. You know the situation of things, people can hardly move around today because they're stuck in traffic. And well, Gloria, before we took that pause, you mentioned that you're a survivor yourself. Can you tell us your own journey and how, you know, you were able to manage treatment and all?
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, I was diagnosed in 2017 after having noticed the lump in 2016. And 7 months later, after running all the tests and doing whatever I was asked to do, I was told that the tumor in my left breast was cancerous. And that was how my journey started. I had a mastectomy, that is removal of the affected breast, total removal of the affected breast. And you know, like most people, I refused to go through other forms of treatment because I had no funds for chemotherapy, and I was scared not to continue with my treatment until I had a recurrence less than 2 years after the surgery. And yes, you might think that I quickly went back and said chemo. I didn't. You know, I still had to explore other options. I went to herbal treatment again. I was still afraid of going for chemo. You know, I went for herbal treatment. They did surgery on me. You know, people that were not qualified for surgery. You know, that's how desperate patients get. I tested myself for surgery in a herbal home and started taking, you know, those drugs. But it took the death of my aunt, who was also battling cancer at the same time with me, to realize that I was in a bad place. And I picked myself up from the herbal home and went to the hospital. And then I started chemotherapy exactly 2 years after my surgery. And I finished my treatment in 2019, my chemotherapy, and did my radiotherapy. And by 2020, January, I was done with treatment. So now I'm on a 5-year hormonal treatment. And I can tell you from my experience that having cancer in Nigeria is very, very difficult. People get to die, not because they are cancer, just the fact that they are Nigerian. Just because they live in Nigeria, many people that I know personally, people that I went through treatment with, you know, they were either misdiagnosed or they were mismanaged or something, or the drugs were not available, they could not buy the drugs just because they live in this country. Many people have died from the language. Well, for me, I've always been an outspoken person. I don't tell people think about my story. I want people want to tell my story. I want people want to live my story. And so I talk about myself. I tell people where I have challenges. I tell people where I want to be helped. And I got help. I could not pay for my treatment. You know, people, friends, colleagues, neighbors contributed money for me to go through all the phases of my treatment, and I'm entirely grateful to all of them. And that is how it is in this country. You have cancer, you become a beggar overnight. If you don't beg, you might die. And even after you beg, you might still die because you're not able to wait out the millions you need for your treatment.
Now, you know, speaking of the cost, can you give us an estimate of how much you spent, and you know, so that other people who are also thinking about it can know how much maybe they need to spend or put aside for treatment?
Okay, because of cancer treatment is relative, and it depends on so many factors. But for me, I spent about 2 million, you know, for my entire treatment, and I was done. And why I spent that, I think that is one of the cheapest cancer treatments anybody can get. Or maybe I'll pay 3 million so far because of some other tests I've been doing even after treatment. So I would say like around 3 million that I've spent so far. And I can tell you it's one of the cheapest treatments anybody I know has gotten for cancer. I have friends who are trying to raise 10 million, 7 million, 12 million. Somebody was asked to bring 20 million for her treatment. So it depends on the kind of cancer, the stage the cancer was discovered, you know, age. I think age might be a factor too, and the kind of drugs you're required to buy. So it's not a one-size-fits-all price, you know, it depends on these factors I just mentioned. But for me, I would say I've spent about 3 million naira so far.
Now, we know that early diagnosis helps in, treatment and management of cancer. A lot of people do not pay attention to their body and, to examine to find out if there might be any tumors or anything that needs to be diagnosed or examined. What would you say about Nigerians actually paying attention to their bodies, especially to find out if there may be any cause of concern as regards to cancer?
Yes, I totally agree that many people do not pay attention to their bodies. A good number of people actually do not take routine checks seriously in this country. And I can tell you why. Lack of awareness is one of it, and that is why for the Blue is working so hard to create awareness. And then some other people know that they need to do this check, but they cannot even afford it. So poverty is a big factor and will always remain a big factor when it comes to that issue. And then you see people who also, I tell you that so many people also who want and sue, especially for breast cancer, that you can easily feel a lump or feel changes on your breast. But these people are either too ashamed, to go to the hospital. We have that issue too with men who suffer of prostate cancer. They don't want to go and open up themselves. These places are private. Oh, it's my private, oh, it's my breast, oh, it's my cervix. They don't want to open up their bodies for everybody to see. People still have not gotten to that point where they understand that health is important. It doesn't matter where you're feeling it. You just have to seek for treatment early. So people are running away because of stigma, because of beliefs, and then some of them, they know they have cancer at stage 1 or 2, but they still go to religious houses. They feel they can pray away the cancer. Some of them think, oh, this is a curse, I've been cursed, I'm going to die, and this is cancer. Cancer is caused by people or village people or by evil forces, and so they go to herbal homes where they feel some power has to help. Some kind of thinking that's not really helping us. So many people know early, honestly, especially breast cancer. If you ask those patients, they'll tell that, oh, I saw this stuff 4 years ago. And then 3 years down the line, 4 years down the line, they are at stage 4, they're in the bad shape. And then they go to hospitals where they might eventually die. So there are so many factors that make this late stage presentation happen. And all these factors can be tackled by awareness. That is what we are trying to do with the world.
You can be a part of it if you have any concerns as regards cancer. You may want to put them forward. If you have someone who may be suffering, you may also want to tell us, about it. The person, or if it's you who has experienced cancer before, you may want to share your story with us, and so that other people can get to learn from you as well. Call 09073530044 and 09087668888. Send a message to 09097054450. You can also put forward suggestions as to what Nigeria and Nigerians, especially governments, can do to ensure that we close the care gap as regards cancer. Stay with us here on your radio experience you can count on.
102.3 Abuja.
Hey girl, what's up?
I'm good. Just chilling and wondering. What are you thinking though?
I'm thinking shopping, partying, restaurant hopping.
No. Something relaxing when you're talking about shopping and partying. Yes to the food, but no to others.
Okay. What do you think of body scrubbing, Haman bath, facial treatment?
Go on.
Pedicure, manicure, waxing. You can even fix your nails if you want to.
Wait, we will be going from one spot to another. I'll be from salon to spa.
You sure? You don't like stress? No, it's just one place. They have those goodies and offer amazing services. They even do body sculpting, and they have hairstylists too.
This spa is where again?
It's Gentle Touch Spa, located at number 2 Bolton Street, Sun City Estate, Abuja. For our reservations, I'll call 080-9269-9269 or 091-2410-6881. I'll check them out on their Facebook and Instagram pages at Gentle Touch Spa, Abuja.
Don't be late, oh. See ya.
Gentle Touch Spa, redefining the beauty in you.
Has anyone told you you can talk about your business on radio for just 15,000 naira? Get a chance to talk your business for 25 minutes on The Entrepreneur. Mondays to Thursdays, 3 p.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM, Abuja. For more inquiries, call 090-9984-4433. 090-9984-4433. The Entrepreneur. Talk your business for just 15,000 naira. This promo runs from February 1st to April 30th. Hurry now.
Eagles Morning Rise. Eagles Morning Rise with
Iheanacho Prince. The conversation continues. This is Eagles Outlook on your radio experience. You can count on Eagles 102.3. This morning we're talking about the World Cancer Day. On the 4th of February 2022 was commemorated, but this day we mark that day. We also need to talk about it because there's need to create awareness. Anybody can become a cancer patient tomorrow. Okay, you may be walking around thinking that you're healthy. Just simply because you haven't checked doesn't mean that you're cancer free. Okay, so we need to create awareness for people to check. We need to be aware. We need for people to realize that, you know, cancer is not, you know, restricted to just a few people. Anybody, just anybody can have cancer. And this year, the theme for this year's cancer awareness, World Cancer Day is closing the care gap. And we're talking with Gloria Chinyere Oku, Programs Coordinator, Project Pink Blue. You can be a part of this conversation. Tell us what you think. What can government do? What can individuals do to, you know, alleviate the sufferings of people who have cancer in this country? 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. Send us a message on 090-9705-4450. Gloria, thank you so much for staying with us.
So thank you very much.
Now, this year we're talking about inequalities and bridging those gaps and all. Some of the inequalities highlighted are income, education, location, discrimination based on ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, age, disability, and lifestyle. And I'd love us to talk about some of these, you know, inequalities. Certain people, because of where they live, may never get access to health care. Certain people in this country, because of who they do not know, may never get access to care or quality care, you know, when they're dealing with cancer. And that's so disheartening. You mentioned earlier that there are people who may be living with cancer in this country but would die because they don't have money, they don't know anybody, and nobody's paying attention to them. I recall that a few years ago, the wife of the president took the cancer initiative and, you know, was going to establish, you know, cancer treatment centers across the 6 geopolitical zones. How far have we come with that? And is that in any way helping the fight against cancer in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. So, I don't know the initiative you're talking about, but I know that there is with the Cancer Health Fund, 6 different hospitals have been assigned across Nigeria, ABU, the Electoral Hospital Abuja, Lagos University Hospital. I can't find the other ones now, but some 6 hospitals have been assigned to treat indicated cancer patients up to the tune of about 2 million naira. And I'm aware that last year, patients were asked to fill forms, that the forms had been resolved. And then over 200 million was resolved 2 years ago. And about last year, Senator Olóyèdè mentioned that over 50% of the forms for last year have been resolved. I'm not sure how much the forms, so I cannot look at locally how much 60% of the forms came. But having bought all these funds and the hospitals have been mentioned and patients have filled forms online, some of them have even been asked to go to social centers of these hospitals for further registration and verification. And they've done all that. So as I speak to you now, no patient has been able to access treatment. Some of them that said, that they won't even access treatment because they have already started the treatment, so they can't even access. There's so much back and forth, but I can tell you that no patients have come out to say have benefited from almost 1 billion naira or more that we've been told has been released for the past 2 years.
That's quite worrisome because, I mean, if monies are being disbursed for treatment and people do not get this treatment, it means that this money is maybe going to private pockets. But then, now let's look at the private sector and individuals. What can we do? What can, private organizations, how can we partner to ensure that people, the number of deaths is so alarming. 72,000 people dying from cancer is worrisome. If we continue to live like this, one day we'll wake up and there will be no people living in this country. How can we all bring hands to, come on board, put our all hands on deck to ensure that cancer treatment is available to all Nigerians?
Yeah, actually, I totally agree that these figures are actually worrisome. And that is why I don't understand why the government and many other governments do not pay particular attention to cancer, but they pay attention to other communicable diseases like HIV, like tuberculosis, and look at COVID now. People, so far with COVID, we've had about 6,000 deaths or a little higher, but that is for 2 years and counting. But for cancer, over 70,000 recorded deaths. There are people that don't even make it to the hospital.
Gloria, please hold that thought. Let's bring in this caller. We have a caller here. Hello, good morning.
Okay.
My friend, good morning.
Good morning. Paul, is that you? Good to have you.
Yeah, good morning to our guests in the studio too. My friend, you see, this cancer is one of the things that is killing Nigerians so much. With the number that you mentioned, is a very serious issue, and this has to do with lack of education or information or lack of access to facilities and so on and so forth. That people are not even aware, because I found out that early detection will help. But people, before they will be able to know that this is what is actually killing them, that is the cancer killing them, before they know it has gone to advanced stage because of lack of knowledge. I think there has to be a lot of education concerning this cancer diseases, especially in the rural areas, because so many of them, they don't even have access to light, access to road, access to hospital. But if people like Madam and some other NGOs and even government national organizations can go down to all these areas and begin to talk to people on their health issues, and this is to go a long way. And then Nigerian government, we have the best brain. Why can't we push our own research to see how we can develop our own vaccine or treatment medicine that we can be treating these things at home? Because at the end of the day, even if the person realizes that he's a cancer patient, to accept drugs or facilities is a problem. And then people who are working in these facilities, the government release money to them to treat people, and they squander the money. They should also know that one day they will account for all that they have been doing. Because lives are involved. It's just like saying it's blood money. Because if government release and you don't use it for the purpose it's being used, and people are dying, you have blood on your hands. So we need to do a lot to be able to change the narrative. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Paul, for joining in and throwing in your 2 cents. We'll take more 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. You can send us a message on 090-9705-4450. Don't forget, you can watch us live on YouTube and Facebook at Eagles FM Abuja. It's good that you're joining and share your 2 cents with us. If you had someone who has suffered from cancer before, a family, a colleague, relative, or anybody, you may want to share that story with us, because that's what this year's cancer awareness is about. Also creating awareness and telling the stories, letting the conversation flow is what we're looking at this morning. Our guest is Gloria Chinyere Oku, Programs Coordinator, Project Pink and Blue. Now, you were talking before Paul called in, you were talking about how Many Nigerians are dying from this. The number is really, really alarming, and all hands needing to be on deck. Please pick up from there.
Yes, yes. So like I said, cancer deaths in a year, I'm going into the hospital. The hospital reported, these are reported cases, people that actually die in the hospital and they're reported. Are these figures we're seeing? So I am, I don't know where our priority lies. People have a disease that can kill over 70,000 in a year, and the disease that kills 3,000 in 2 years. Please, where should we pay more attention to? Cancer is doing so much, it's killing so many people, and we should stop, acting like we don't know or we don't understand. And it permeates every way, why gender, education, nobody is free. The rich and the poor, nobody is free. So I don't know why, we keep paying lip service to cancer. NHIS just covers each species of cancer treatment and covers other diseases. And they tell you, some of them think, somebody sent a cancer patient from NHIS that, why should we cover you when you're still going to die? That is their disease. So honestly, we really need to put our hands on there. We need to save our people where they are dying in their thousands every year. We need to give their priority when it comes to cancer treatment. And then, for private sector, honestly, I'm going to give a lot of kudos to the private sector. They are doing a lot, But what they are doing is based in, the big areas, the high ground areas, Abuja and Lagos. That is where most of the private sectors are in. That is where the big money is. And these machines are expensive, very, very difficult and hard to maintain. So the ones who invest in areas where people can actually pay them to service their machine. So what happens to the people in the rural areas who cannot come to Abuja or Lagos, who cannot pay 2 or 3 times the money they have in the government facility, in the private facility? So I know that for instance, you might do therapy for about 1.5 or 1.6 million ask them. And then in Abuja, National Hospital, you can do for 600,000. Can you see the difference? So people who have bought the one in Abuja, but the one in Lagos is charging over ₦1 million. So the private sector is effort trying to fill in the gap where the government has failed, but the ordinary Nigerian can still not afford this treatment. So honestly, all my appeal is to the government to provide subsidized help to cancer patients. That is the only way we can begin to close this gap.
Now, you mentioned something.
It's doing so much, but that's so much they are doing. Only 0.0% can actually access private facilities in Nigeria.
That's also worrisome. Now, Paul made a statement earlier concerned about research. He has talked about Nigerian research. In advanced climes, we see that people are researching of cancer several years now. They're also, researching vaccines to prevent, cancer. But then in Nigeria, you mentioned something about herbal care. We haven't really taken that seriously. We see that in COVID-19, we're also pushing for herbal care and all. While we may not be paying attention to what we have, because some people have said, well, it's not serious. I've heard people who say, there's herbal treatment for cancer. But you just told us now that you, at some point, were taking that treatment and it didn't really, it didn't really work. What do you say about research in Nigeria as regards, providing the treatment for cancer?
Yeah, and that is why, we are seriously after the things that we are begging the government, we are pushing for the government to gazette the National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment Act, so that research, can be ongoing, in a coordinated manner. So we can have a one-stop shop for all cancer interventions, research, and all what does for cancer, Because honestly, there is so much information out there. People are saying, there's this herbal place in Jos, this one in Kaduna, that one is in Lagos, in Owerri, we have so many of them. I know people, personally, that have accessed some of these herbal remedies and died, So it's not like conventional treatment is guaranteed that you're not going to die from cancer. But why I talk against herbal treatment is because of there is no research that has proven, anywhere that has proven that this treatment can actually cure cancer or help people manage cancer. And then I'm yet to see one person that also say, oh, Gloria, I went through herbal remedies and I'm still alive. I need one person. I'm still alive 3 years on, 4 years on, 5 years on. Honestly, I'm looking to see somebody that will say that. So that we do that. So we know how it actually works and see its efficacy. So because there's no real research going on here. Most of the research are done outside the country. The clinical trials are done outside the country. And then they bring in these drugs based on the results of their research outside the country, based on the results of their clinical trials, to come and give us here. And so when you said the drug is a white woman for breast cancer, then you bring it to a black woman for breast cancer, the likelihood of that drug not working is there. So research is not, honestly, I don't know of any real research that is ongoing currently at the moment that is going to support cancer care and going to close the cancer care gap. That is why we need that institute to begin to put cancer efforts together for us to have an idea of what is happening and where it's happening and be able to see these results and work with it. Because I still believe that there could be a herb, there could be something maybe in Nigeria, somewhere that can actually manage or cure cancer as the case is. Honestly, I believe that because I know we have a lot of talent in this country. I know we have a lot of herbs and drugs, but we are yet to see. Somebody is here to point us to someone. I really wish you can do something in that regard. Something that will be cheaper, that will be less destructive than chemotherapy. Honestly, I will be happy. I personally will do that.
Now, but before we go, let's talk about chemotherapy for a bit. A lot of people are afraid of chemo. A lot of cancer patients would rather, opt for other forms of treatments than chemotherapy. Tell us about your chemo journey and what you generally think about chemotherapy.
Okay, I personally, this is my personal opinion, I think of chemo as the necessary evil. That is the way I think of chemo, because that is, so far, that is the only cure or management, that can slow down the spread of cancer cells, that might kill cancer cells, that might stop it from spreading, That is the only thing we know for now that we can hold on to, that we have proven results. So I call it a necessary evil, because chemo is not easy. Like I said, the signs like exorbitant, the side effects are damning. For me, I was a bit lucky, maybe because of my age. Maybe I had a strong immune system, I don't know. Chemo was a lot kinder to me than I expected. A whole lot kinder, People said, oh, you might die from chemo, you're going to be so sick, you're not going to be able to help yourself, you're going to lose this, you're going to lose your hair, you're going to lose your libido, you're going to lose everything and everything. And I was so scared of losing all these things. And when I eventually summoned up courage to start, I thought I lost all my hair. I lost all my hair. I lost a bit of my strength. I was darker than usual. But I had a whole reserve of energy. I could go for sports, I could travel. I was still working. All through my cancer treatment, I've always been working. If I don't tell you I was undergoing chemo, you wouldn't know. Because, of course, thank God for weeks. So I want to say to people that chemo does not have the blankest way of treating people. It treats you according to, maybe your age, the kind of chemo you're taking, the kind of cancer you're treating, the stage of the cancer. There are indices too that will determine how chemo will treat people. But whatever chemo does to somebody, once you stop the chemotherapy, the body starts recovering. The hair starts growing back. If they lost the grills, they grow back. If you are darker, you start, the darkness, the skin starts closing up again. All those side effects are supposed to wear out of the body. And for how it years out also depends on these factors. When you listen, your age, kind of job, kind of people, when you are presented. So early presentation has a lot to contribute to success in treating cancer. You know, so yes, chemo is scary, but I don't want people to think that, oh, chemo is something you can do it. So I know people that were doing chemo and live their normal life. I am one of them. I did everything I was doing before chemo. While I was on chemo, I was active, I was strong, I was fine. At least superficially, I was fine. So please let us stop having the notion that chemo kills. No. It's difficult, yes, but it can be taken. And sure, it does a lot to help manage cancer.
Gloria Chinyere Oku, from your story with us. We hope that people may have found inspiration from what you just shared on your story, and that gap would be, close that care gap for people with cancer in this country. Thank you again for spending time with us this morning on the program.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, and have a nice day.
You too, have an amazing day. Keep being strong as you've always been. Thank you again. And the conversation could continue on our socials at Eagles FM Abuja. Thank you to everyone who's been a part of it. Those of you who just sat back to listen, you are our MVPs. Thank you so much for being there. Cancer, anybody can come down with cancer. Do not discriminate. Do not hate anybody. Do not also be afraid. As much as you can, go for routine checks and check your body and ensure that you're doing well. Early detection and early, diagnosis really helps. Let's do what we can to, protect ourselves against cancer and have a cancer-free Nigeria someday. Thank you so much for being part of it. Thank you to Funsho for putting us in pictures this morning on our YouTube and Facebook at Eagles FM Abuja. You can watch us and see what's happening in the studio. My name is Iheanacho Prince. Stay with us. Business News is up next and right after.